A very good morning to Ananda, and today concept is about code optimization, and which is the fifth phase as per the process of compilation. Once I'm recalling all the phases of the compilation process of compilation, the first one is a lexical analysis, and the second is an syntax analyzer, third one is a semantic analyzer, and the fourth is an intermediate code generator, and the fifth one is an code optimization. And now from today onwards, we're going to learn how the implementation takes place in code optimization and what type of output that we're going to generate from this code optimization, right? And initially we need to know what the code optimization is, and we all know what the parts of the compilers are. And how many parts of the compilers are? There are only two parts. One is an analysis part and the second one is an synthesis part. And while coming to the first three phases of the compilation, that is an lexical analysis, syntax and semantic, those three comes under the analysis phase or analysis part, and the code optimization and code generation, the last two phases, code optimization and code generation, these two comes under the synthesis part. And in between we're having an intermediate code generator where it is acting as a mediator between the analysis part and the synthesis part. And here this code optimization is in the synthesis phase. We all know that because we already studied and we already discussed about the parts of the compilers. And here, what is the need of optimization and what is code optimization? What type of an result that we are going to generate here? Generate by doing an optimization. And for that, we are having an answer. All of you see the slide once. The code optimization in the synthesis phase is a program transformation technique, and which always tries to improve the intermediate code. Always make it underlined there. Always tries to improve the intermediate code by making it consume fewer resources. That is here what type of resources that we are taking is just these are the examples like in CPU and the memory. So automatically what the resultant we are expecting is, that means what the output that we are generating is faster running machine code will results. Right. Whenever we improve the intermediate code by making it consume with fewer resources, then automatically the code runs faster. Which code it is in? It is in machine code, right? So the faster running machine code will results while performing the code optimization. So what's the definition of the code optimization is? A simple definition with a simple sentence like optimizing the code, that is improving the efficiency of the code just by minimizing the lines of the code. Just by minimizing the lines of the code, what we are doing, we are improving the efficiency of the code. That's about an optimization, and that is an code optimization. And here the code optimization is required to produce an efficient target code. So there are mainly two issues here. Based on those two issues, we need to consider while applying the techniques for code optimization. When I want to do any type of an, or when I want to perform any type of an optimization technique, then there itself I need to consider the two most important issues. What those two important issues are? The first one is about a semantic analysis, semantic equivalence. We can call it as a semantic equivalence. What it means is semantic equivalence of the source program must not be changed. Semantic equivalence of the source program must not be changed. And what the second issue is, the improvement over the program efficiency must be achieved without changing the algorithm of the program, or it may be without changing an algorithm or without changing the meaning of the program. We can consider it as an either it may be an algorithm or either it may be a meaning. Without changing the meaning or without changing the algorithm of the program, we need to improve the efficiency of the code. We need to achieve that. We need to achieve the improvement of the program efficiency, the improvement over the program efficiency. These are the two most important issues that we need to consider while applying the techniques for code optimization. If there is any need to apply, if there is any need to do the optimization, then we need to apply some techniques, right? Where we're applying this is at the code, at the part of the code in the language constructs. So there itself we need to consider these two important issues. And here we are talking about an efficient code. For example, if the code becomes an inefficient, if the code becomes an inefficient, and what the reasons behind that? What's the reasons behind that? If it is an efficient code or if it is an inefficient code, there are only two factors we need to consider as an reasons. What those two factors is, one is an programmer and the other one is an compiler, and the other factor is an compiler. What it means is these two factors plays a major role when we are performing the optimization by implementing different and different transformations or different and different techniques, right? So when it is an efficient code, when it becomes an efficient code, the reason to get the efficient code is based on the two factors. When the code becomes an inefficient, there also we're considering the reasons of two factors. Because of those two factors, one factor is an programmer and the other is an compiler. Other factor is an compiler. And because of these two factors, we can say that the code becomes an inefficient. What's the reasons means depend is totally in their individual reasons we are having, but here we are not talking about what the reasons, just we are knowing how many factors are there, what the factors that are there, if the code becomes inefficient or if the code becomes an efficient, right? And here in this code optimization, in this chapter, we are going to discuss about various transformations and why we are using these various transformations. Various transformations means those transformations could be applied on the code to improve the performance of the program. So we're having a question like this. What the question is, where exactly the code optimization can be applied, whether it should be before the code generation phase or after the code generation phase, right? And for this question, we're having an answer in the further slides. I will explain that. And what it means is, what we're going to learn here is where exactly the code optimization techniques can be applied, and where the places that we are exactly applying the code optimization techniques. So these are the questions that we are having for knowing about an code optimization. There here from here onwards, we are having that we need to know that why to optimize, where to optimize, when to optimize. So before knowing why, where, and when, first we need to know the most important objectives. And I am applying the optimization techniques. I need to apply the optimization techniques just to improve the efficiency of the code. And here my concept is now the compiler optimizing process should meet the following objectives. What it means is I am having some objectives. By meeting those objectives, compulsory they should meet those objectives when I am performing any type of optimization, any type of compiler optimization techniques. So at the process of doing this optimization, optimizing for the compiler, what I need to meet, what I need to meet. And for that, I'm having some objectives. What the first objective is, what the first objective is, optimization must be correct. It must not in any way change the meaning of the program. From the starting itself, I'm saying that whatever the input program that we're taking, whatever the source program that we're taking to generate the target code, at phase by phase level, we are implementing just by taking the input itself, right? So we are not changing the meaning. We are not changing the meaning of the code. At optimization also, while performing the optimization techniques also, the code need not to be changed. The code should not be changed. Whatever the optimization, it should be correct optimization. And you should not change the meaning of the program just by doing or applying the techniques. Whatever the code, whatever the meaning of the code before optimization should be same as after the optimization. The meaning should be same as after the optimization. Make a note of this. This is the most important point here. And from the starting of the class, from the starting of this course, I explained at the fundamental concepts in compiler design, or at the introduction of the compiler design. We are having two most important terms. Based on those two most important terms, based on the complexity of those two important terms, we are defining the efficiency. Once recall that. What those two important terms are, speed and the time. Speed and the time. These two plays a major role here, right? These things I already explained in the last classes. Before starting of this classes only I explained. To get an efficient target code, to generate the efficient target code or the object code, what we need to consider, what the most important terms we need to consider, speed and the time. Based on the speed and the time, we are getting an efficient code. We can generate the efficient code, isn't it? Once recall that. And here also the another objective of this code optimizing, that is an optimizing the compiler is optimization should increase the speed. Optimization should increase the speed and performance of the program. And here the compilation time, we need to consider the another term like in time. Now I talk about the speed, and we're having the another term like in time, right? So the compilation time must be kept reasonable. And whenever we're processing, whenever we're doing this optimization process, should not delay the overall compilation process. Make a note of this. These are the most important objectives we need to consider when we are performing the or when we are applying the optimization techniques for the code. And here I'm having a question: when to optimize? When to optimize? One thing whose responsibility of take caring of to generate the efficient code is only the programmer and the compiler. To generate an efficient code or to generate an inefficient code, these two factors plays a major role here. So whose responsibility is the programmer and the compiler, because they need to use the proper usage of the code and generate the target code, right? So here I'm having a question: after knowing what the optimization is and what the code optimization is, what are the most important objectives that I need to follow when I am performing the compiler optimizing? Then I need to know that when to optimize. And just in previous slide, I raised a question that the optimization takes place before the code generation or after the code generation. Once I am again once I'm again erasing the question that where exactly the code optimization can be applied, whether it should be before the code generation phase or after the code generation phase. It is the question now. It's my question now. And for that question, my answer is here. And what the answer is at the end of the development stage, I need to perform the optimization. I need to perform this optimization. Why? Because it reduces the readability and adds codes, and that is used to increase the performance. Is it clear now? And for the question like whether you need to apply or where to perform the optimization, where to apply the optimization techniques, whether it may be before or after the code generation means, here I'm having the answer for that. Optimization of the code is often performed at the end of the development stage since it reduces the readability and adds code that is used to increase the performance. And then what the next question is, why to optimize? Now I know when to optimize. Now here in this concept, I know when to optimize. After knowing what the optimization, I get an answer that when to optimize. And now, what is the need of optimization? What is the need of doing or performing the optimization? For that, I'm having an answer. And so let's just see the slide. Why to optimize means optimizing an algorithm or optimizing a code or optimizing any program, whatever it may be. It may be a directive or it may be an algorithm. These directives and the algorithms are nothing but the what we can call inputs. We can call it as an input. And here optimizing an algorithm is beyond the scope of the code optimization phase. The program is optimized and it may involve in reducing the size of the code. When you reduce the size of the code, automatically you improve the efficiency of the code, right? So when I reduce the size of the code, how the optimization helps to, how the optimization helps to. And if I reduce the size of the code, automatically my speed increases. My speed of the compilation increases. And what the space I am taking for it, I can consume the space, right? And the time, coming to the time, where if when I am performing it as an manually, then it takes a lot of time. and when I'm performing it in a systematic way, then it takes an less time, right? And reducing the size of the code impacts on two factors or two terms. One is on space and another one is on space and time, right? Space and time. And time in the sense the speed increases. Whenever the speed increases of the compilation, automatically what will happen, the space gets, we can reduce the space and it's consumed, and then automatically it increases the speed of the compilation. And my amount, when I'm calculating the time, the amount of time in takes takes very less, right? When I reduce the size of the code, that means I perform the optimization. This optimization, after performing the optimization, it shows that reducing the size of the code. What it means is just minimizing the lines of the code. And once we minimize the lines of the code, automatically it impacts on the speed and the time and the space, right? And here we're having some tools, software tools like whatever the uh, data sets that are involved here. When we're analyzing those data sets manually, it takes a lot of time. If we can use in software like Tabula for data analysis, and similarly manually performing the optimization is also tedious and is better done using an code optimizer. So a optimized code often promotes and reusability. And what the tool that we are using here, automatic code generator tool, or that is code optimizers we are using here. We are using optimizer is a tool here. With the code optimizers, we are doing better than the manual performance. Make it clear. And just for explaining the tool like in Code Optimizer, where this Code Optimizers is a tool that we are only implementing at the optimization phase, not in a syntax or not in a semantic or not in code generators, right? Only this Code Optimizers we are using in an optimization phase. And why we are using this is manual performing the optimization is also tedious, and to get in a better manner, to implement in a better way, we are using the optimizers, right? So uh, here we're taking an example like manually analyzing data sets involves a lot of time, and if it needs a less time, that means analyzing the data sets to be done in a less time means automatically I will use some softwares. What the software here is, it is a Tabula for data analysis. That software we are using for analyzing the data sets. And for performing the optimizations, we are using Optimizer as an software tool. Code Optimizer is a software tool that we are implementing here. We are using the tool like an optimizer. With that tool, we are implementing all these transformations and optimization techniques. And finally, how I can conclude this, why to optimize means an optimization code often promotes the reusability. Make a note of this, reusability. And, and the next concept is about the types of code optimization. And before learning about the types of code optimization, first you need to know what the advantages and what the problems of optimizing compilers. And first thing is about the advantages of code optimization. We're having two most advantages here. And what the first advantage is, the intermediate code can be optimized just to produce an efficient object code. Here we always spelling out or talking about the efficiency. Why we are only using the term like an efficiency here is why we are considering the main uh, term like an efficiency means we need to generate and target code. We need to generate and target code, and whatever we are implementing at the intermediate code, that is whatever we generated at the intermediate code, that the same thing that we are generating in the code optimization, right? Their code optimization there itself, it does not have any language like an intermediate code generation. There what we are doing is just improving without changing the meaning of the code. And for the word like an improvement, we are knowing where we're having different and different transformations here, and we need to apply different and different optimization techniques here. And up to now we don't know what the internal functionality of the optimization is, just we know the meaning of the optimization. What the meaning of the optimization? And when we learned, or we already discussed it in the phases of compilation, there at the code optimization phase, what type of an output that we are going to generate when taking an input from the intermediate code generator. That's it we know up to now. But we don't know how the internal functionality can be implemented. And from this concept onwards, from this here, by with the definition of the code optimization, then knowing what the objectives of the optimization, then when to optimize and why to optimize, and knowing about some advantages and some problems about this code optimization, then we are going in detail about what the optimization techniques that we are having, how to apply those techniques, and when it is necessary to apply. Every time we need to apply, or if there is any need, then only we need to apply those. Or for for these type of questions, we are having an answer by learning further and further concepts under the code optimization. And now I need to know the first advantage of this is the intermediate code can be optimized. Why I am calling it as an intermediate code? Because the input I am taking from the intermediate code generation, that is acting what the output of the intermediate code generation is an input to my code optimization, right? So the intermediate code can be optimized to produce an efficient object code, and that is the most important point, that is the most important advantage of this code optimization. And what the next advantage is, always when you perform the optimization, always allows faster execution of the source program by making some minor modifications. Here we are making some minor modifications, right? So these are the two most important advantages of code optimization. And now I know what the advantages of code optimization is. I need to know what the problems of optimizing compilers. Problems of optimizing compilers. And when we get an problem is, these optimizing compilers are, those are also an compilers, but which perform the code optimization, then we can call them as an optimizing compilers. And the common problems of the optimizing compilers is, why I'm calling it as an common problems means, at each and every phase, when we are implementing at each and every phase, we have to know that, we should know that what the commonly occurred errors. By knowing the commonly occurred errors at each and every phase, there itself we can encounter them, we can modify them, and we can update the code, and finally we can generate the error-free code, right? So for that we need to know what the commonly occurred errors or problems, and that the optimizing compilers may encounter. And what the problem number one here is, when I'm designing an intermediate code, the design of the intermediate code must be simple enough to optimize this code. Because if I'm having a large complex code, that means I'm taking the input from the semantic, then I am generating the intermediate language. That means where it consisting of set of translation statements, right? So the design of intermediate code, there itself I need to design the code in a simple manner. That means it must be simple enough to optimize the code. If the intermediate code is complex, then automatically the optimization becomes complex. And what the next problem here is, if the grammar chooses an inefficient algorithm, here we're having types of algorithms like an efficient and inefficient. Inefficient means which does not suitable for implementation of the code. Efficient means which suitable for implementation of the code. That means if the grammar chooses an inefficient algorithm or any type of an data structures, then the optimization at front end becomes nearly impossible. What the front end means, at every phase itself we are performing the optimization, but there we are not talking about this optimization concept. But in default we are doing the optimization. In default we're not applying such type of techniques, but at the implementation itself we are make it easier, we are make it simple, and we are make it understand. uh, we are considering all these constraints, and we are generating the output at each and every phase itself. That means there itself we are performing some optimization without implementation of the techniques and the transformations like this, right? So the whatever the front end we are having, it becomes nearly impossible. Once recall what the front end and back end of the compilers, then you can know what and what comes under the front end. And the optimizing transformations must be applied carefully. And then further and further, we're learning that transformations, the optimization transformations. So you applying of these transformations should be done carefully. Otherwise, the code may become time and space inefficient. These are the two most important constraints or the terms or the factors we need to consider from starting from the starting of the process of compilation to the ending of the process of compilation. And the code optimization should be carried out in such a way that time and space will not get wasted. Again, to become that means to increase the speed uh, to consume less amount of space. Then by carrying out all this, the time and space will not get wasted here. Right. These are the some of the problems of the optimizing compilers. When when we find out such problem at anywhere, when we are at anywhere at the part of implementation, so we need to encounter them. We need to encounter them and we need to modify it with minor corrections or minor modifications, then update the code and finally generate the error-free code. Right? And these are the advantages and the problems of optimizing compilers. And now the concept is about the types of code optimization. Types of code optimization. And here broadly the optimization process can be broadly classified into two types. One is an machine independent optimization. The second one is an machine dependent optimization. This we can also call it as an classification of optimization can be done in two categories: machine dependent and machine independent optimization. What is machine independent optimization? Machine independent optimization. And to improve the intermediate code to get a better target code as an output, where we're attempting to the machine independent optimization. What it means is this code optimization phase attempts to improve the intermediate code to get a better target code as the output. And here the part of the intermediate code which is transformed here does not involve any CPU registers or any absolute memory locations. Make a note here. This does not involve any CPU registers or absolute memory locations. But here the machine independent optimization is based on the characteristics of the programming languages. Make a note of this. Based on the characteristics of the programming languages, here the machine independent optimization takes place. For appropriate programming structures and usage of efficient arithmetic properties in order to reduce the execution time, we are using this machine independent optimizations. And in detail explanation of this machine independent optimization is when we achieve the following things. When we achieve, that means we the when the machine independent when we can say that it is a machine independent optimization means if it consisting of these, what are those? Point number one, note down. Whatever the code, that code should be analyzed completely and use alternative equivalent sequence of the source code. What it means is that will produce a minimum amount of the target code. And when we are having when we are having such equivalent sequence of source code, then we can say that it is a machine independent optimization code, right? And use appropriate program structures in order to improve the efficiency of the target code. We are using an appropriate program structures. For what means to improve the efficiency of the target code. Here the efficiency plays a major role. Efficiency of the target code plays a major role. And whatever the source program that we are having, we should eliminate the unreachable codes from that. From the source program, eliminate the unreachable code. And what the next thing is, we need to perform some computations. And how we are performing the computations in machine independent optimization means we are moving two or more identical computations at one place and making use of the result, and instead of each time computing the expression. What it means is, just I'm giving an example here. X is equal to y of z. The computation of y of z is stored in an x, right? And what the resultant variable here is x. So wherever I'm having an translation statement like an x is equal to y of z, x is equal to y of z, no need to do the computation again and again. Just instead of that expression, just use an variable like an x. Use an variable like an x. What it means is, we are moving a two or more identical computations at one place here. So if you find out these criterias at anywhere, then we can say that these are all the machine independent optimization codes. These are all comes under the machine independent optimization. What it means is, by these we can achieve the machine independent optimization. And what it always based on the characteristics of the programming language. Make a note of this. Machine independent optimization always based on the characteristics of the programming languages. And the next one is about an machine dependent optimization. Machine independent and machine dependent. Once here in machine independent does not involve any CPU registers or absolute memory locations, right? But here we are involving the CPU registers and absolute memory locations. That is machine dependent optimization. And what the machine dependent optimization means, it's based on the characteristics of the target machine. What it means is, totally it is depending on the machine level code, and whatever the target code that has been generated by uh, from this machine dependent optimization. What it means is, the machine dependent optimization is done after the target code has been generated, and when the code is transformed according to the target machine architecture. And here it involves the CPU registers and the absolute memory locations, and these memory locations are the references rather than the relative references. So these optimizers, machine dependent optimizers, puts efforts to take maximum advantage of the memory hierarchy. Puts put efforts to take maximum advantage of the memory hierarchy. And here also I'm having some most important reasons, or we can call them as in criterias, and based on those we can say that these comes under the machine dependent optimizations. And for the instruction sets used, or for what the target machine is, for the instruction sets used and the addressing modes used for the instructions to produce the target code. And here this machine dependent optimization, when it can achieve, when it can achieve means, here it's having some criterias, and if it satisfies all the criterias what I am explaining now, then it can achieve, it is a machine dependent optimization. The first one is an allocation of sufficient number of resources, and to improve the execution efficiency of the program. And here we are using the immediate instructions wherever necessary. Totally here we are talking about machine level language, that is an all the machine level languages like an intermediate instructions registers, or some addressing modes or instruction sets, all those about the machine level language here we are talking about, because it is a machine dependent optimization. And we can also use of intermixing of instructions along with the data. It increases the speed of the execution. And when uh, the following criteria satisfies, then we can say that the code is an machine dependent optimization code. Right, is it clear now what's the machine independent and what's the machine dependent optimization? Here, the classification of optimization can be done or can be categorized into two ways. One is a machine dependent and another one is a machine independent. And now, and now, here we need to know what the requirements we need and what the opportunities we have. What's the requirements is, by performing such type of transformations, or by performing or by applying an optimization techniques, what's the requirements, what the requirements that I need here? Meaning must be preserved and it should be correct. and speed must occur on an average, and whatever the work done must be worth the effort. These are the requirements. Based on these requirements, I am performing the optimization. What the opportunities you have to get the requirements like this? Programmers and compilers, right? Programmers. Programmers means in the form of the algorithm or in the form of an directives. I am taking an input, or from the intermediate code in the form of an intermediate language or the target code, right? These are the requirements and the opportunities. What I need and what I have. And this is the role of the optimization, code optimization. And see the structure of this. See the structure. We all know at the lexical analyzer there itself I explained you what the role of lexical analyzer, and then at the syntax role of parser, and then semantic role of semantic analysis, and then intermediate code the role of intermediate code generator, and here the role of code optimization. Once already see the structure here from the source language generating the lexical analyzers, that means implementing the lexical analyzers as in scanners and generates the tokens, and it is taken as an input to the parsers and implementing all the parsing techniques, and then finally generating the syntactic structure, and it is taking as an input to the semantic, and there itself we are generating the semantic structure, syntactic both from the parser and from the semantic we are generating syntactic structure. But at the semantic analysis it should be an decorated syntactic structure, right? And see the structure there. One see the structure, the semantic, the ICG. ICG is an intermediate code generator, and then it is a code optimizer. What it means is, just once recall, after learning the parsing techniques and generating the parse trees, then what the next concept that I discussed, that I explained you, is about an syntax directed translations, right? That means generating the tree, then how to generate the syntax directed definitions or translations. I explained you. And then from the translations, I explained you the type checkings, type equivalence, type systems, type conversions, and so on. That comes under the semantic analysis. And after the semantic analysis, I explained you how to implement the intermediate language, that is how to generate the intermediate code in the form of an intermediate language, and it consisting of some set of translation statements, right? There itself at the concept of type declaration and the concepts like an the concepts under the intermediate code, type declarations, and so on and so on. There itself I explained an three address code, and there explained an in syntax related definition, and I show how to draw the syntax trees and DAGs representations and all those. And now what we are going to learn from this class onwards, optimization, code optimization, right? So see the structure, then it can uh, you then it can easily identify that these are represented at one place. Whatever the two phases, semantic and intermediate code generator, are represented at one place. Under this, the code optimizer was represented, and the output of these two are same. The outputs of intermediate code and the code optimizers are same. Then there itself we get an semantic structure. Semantic structure is, we can also call it as an intermediate language structure. Then that is giving as an input to the code generator, and finally we are generating the target code. And here every phase is connected to the symbol table, and along with the symbol table we are having the another subphase, that is an error handler. Error handler, while handling the errors, we encounter them and we debug them, and finally we generate the error-free outputs. Symbol table is acting as a data structure here. Everything, whatever we done in each and every phase, should be stored in a symbol table, and this should be act as an record. This symbol table is acting as an data record. Why means when I want to refer for any variable, just I will go to the symbol table and there I will check it out, and from there I can take what the variable it is, right? So it is an data record. Symbol table is a data structure, and it is acting as a data record of these phases of compilation. At each and every phase, every phase is connected to the symbol table, right? And this is about the role of optimization. Here in this code optimizer is an uh, tool. Here we are implementing this code optimizer tool, and by implementing this code optimizer tool, we are performing or applying different and different transformations and different optimization techniques. Then we are generating the output in the form of an intermediate code language, right? And this is about the code optimization. And next, and here we're having the organization. Organization is nothing but a code organization, and what it consisting of is the introduction and the classification of optimization techniques and the factors that influencing the optimizations and the teams behind the optimization techniques, the optimizing transformations. Classification of optimization techniques means here we are going to know how the optimization techniques are going to be applicable for the lines of the code, not for the whole code. Somewhere we can, somewhere if there is any need, only then we can use this techniques. If not, no need to use this optimization techniques, right? And what the introduction of this optimization is, and here always we concerns with an machine independent code optimization. Yes, because it is a machine independent code optimization. We're talking about a machine independent code optimization. And here we're having a rule like a 90-10 rule. What the 90-10 rule is, execution spends 90% and time in 10% of the code. What it means is easy to achieve a 90% of optimization. The rest 10% is very difficult to achieve. So we need to identify what the 10% of the code is. It is not possible for the compilers because we are having only two factors here. The both programmer and the compilers plays a major role, right? So it's not possible for a compiler to identify the 10% of the code, and whose job it is the responsibility of the identification of 10% code is for the profilers, right? So in general here loops are the hotspots here. And then what's the main criterion of this code optimization is, these things I already explained in the previous slides just before, and again I'm recalling those. Semantic equivalence of the program, that means uh, whatever the optimization that you are applying, whatever the optimization that you are applying for the source program, it must not be changed, right? Must not be changed. And the algorithm should not be modified here. Initially when using an algorithm, there itself you need to choose an efficient algorithm to get an efficient target code. So algorithm should not be modified here. And whatever the transformations we're going to apply here, on an average, we should improve the speed of the execution of the program. Just by applying the transformations, on average, should speed up the execution of the program. Worth the effect. How we can worth the effort means the intellectual and the compilation effort spent on insignificant improvements. That means transformations are simple enough to have a good effect. So this leads to the worth the effect. And these are the main most important criterions for the code optimization. Based on these, we need to move further just for applying the optimization techniques and implementing the transformations under the code optimization. And this is the conceptual view of the code optimization. And as already said that the optimization takes place at each and every phase itself. Almost in all the phases of the compilation, we are doing the optimization, but there we are not learning about the concept like an optimization. Right. So here we're having a conceptual view. What the conceptual view is, from source code, then to front end, and then intermediate code, and then code generator, and finally it is a target code, right? And here the profile and optimize. This can be done by the users. And at intermediate code and target code, the optimization can be performed by the compilers. How means at intermediate code, there we can optimize at the loops or procedural calls or address calculation improvements. And while coming to the target code, which is totally a machine level code, machine dependent code, their usage of the registers or usage of the instruction sets or instructions, choice of transformations or choice of these optimization techniques like in peephole optimization, these are done by the compilers. These are totally done by the compilers. at the intermediate code, and at the target code and at the source code, right? Is it clear now? This we can call it as a conceptual view. Why? Because here also I am explaining about the phases of the compilers, but here I am not naming each and every phase. What the front end is, the front end comes under the lexical, syntax and semantic, right? Then intermediate code, then code generator. This code generator, the code optimization and the code generator comes on the back end of the compilers, right? So this is the conceptual view of the code optimization. But at each and every phase, how we are encountering the errors like that only at each and every phase itself, when we are generating an output, at the place of generating an output or at the place of implementation of the code, there itself we can considering all these, we are implementing the optimization there itself, but not performing, but without performing any techniques or any applications. Just we need to get an efficient code, means at each and every phase itself we need to generate and code in an efficient manner. That's the thing we know. Just we know to generate and code at each and every phase itself in an efficient manner. That's what we are following from the phase 1 to phase n, right? And this is about an introduction. At the introduction here, it is about an optimizing compiler, that is a code optimizer. This is a tool, right? Code optimizer is a tool. With the code optimizer only we are performing all this. This is a software tool we are implementing here, and from the code optimizer, and uh, how the flow takes place means, first from the control flow analysis, and then it goes to the data flow analysis, and then we are performing the transformations. Then we need to implement the transformations. This is about the organization of an optimizing compilers. That means the code optimizer is a tool here. With the tool, at the lexical analyzer, where I explained with lex2, and with syntax with an act tool, and here at this code optimization, code optimizer tool. At the optimization, we are using a software tool like an optimizer with this, because manually it, it is very complex. So to make it simple, we need to use an automated tools like this. This code optimizer is an automated tool, and how the how the step-by-step level takes place in the code optimizer means, from the analysis, from the flow analysis, control flow analysis to data flow, and then the applications of the transformations. Those are from the code optimization transformations, right? And how we're going to classify these optimization techniques. Classification of the optimization techniques are people optimization, local optimization, global. Again, global can be divided into inter-procedural and intra-procedural, and finally loop optimization. And this concept I will explain in next class. And before going to know what the classifications of optimization techniques, first initially you need to know the scope of operation, and then what the principal sources of optimization, and then knowing about the classification of optimization techniques. This concept I will explain in the next class. Up to this session, I explained you, I make you to understand what the code optimization is, what the objectives of code optimization, when to optimize and why to optimize, and the role of code optimization, and then the types of code optimization, machine independent optimization and machine dependent optimization, and what the criteria we need to consider when we are performing an optimization technique.